Hey, what's up everybody, it's Roy from India. Welcome to my channel Roy's Academy. Make sure you watch the video to the end, because if you don't, there might be some punchlines at the end of the video which is very much important for cleaning the concept. And also at the end of watching the entire video, please do hit the thumbs up button and also comment down in the comment section below and let me know if you have any personal queries or doubts. And also you can show me your love and affection by subscribing my channel, so please do subscribe my channel and help me grow my channel more and more for you people, so that I can help benefit you people with more such videos. Thank you.
Today I'm going to start with glycolysis. Okay, glycolysis means the glucose, the conversion of glucose to pyruvic acid. Now, one thing I need to mention in this aspect is how does when we are why does this glucose gets converted to pyruvic acid anyway? Because when we are where does this glucose come from? The glucose is mainly coming from the food source. Okay, the digestion step by step, the digestion chambers of our body, the parts of our body that I explained lastly, starting from the mouth, then stomach, then small intestine, and the pancreas also. And glucose is the carbohydrate is the only substance that gets digested starting from the mouth. Okay, digestion begins from mouth, and unlike the lipid and proteins, which starts the digestion from the stomach. And proteins get digested into the stomach, but not the lipids. Lipids are at last digested at the end point of digestion, that is the small intestine and pancreas. But glucose, the glucose molecules are formed from the complex carbohydrates of the aprodextrine, erythrodextrine, then maltose, sucrose, fructose, disaccharides and oligosaccharides, polysaccharides and all. So from there, the glucose are the ultimate end product, glucose and dextrose. Now, this glucose cannot be directly utilized by the cell for the physiological or the metabolic functioning of the cell. Okay, so when the glucose enters into the cell, glucose molecules through the pore channels of the cell membrane, these glucose molecules are converted into pyruvate and oxaloacetate, malate, succinic acid, and then malate aspartate, all these things. These are the secondary form of the glucose molecule, or intermediary form of the glucose molecule that gets converted. So that's the way. And why is this conversion necessary? The major thing is glucose gets converted to the pyruvate, which is being utilized by, because the pyruvate molecule and the other like the aspartate, malate and all these things, these molecules, succinate, these molecules are a little bit shorter than the glucose molecule. Okay, so in that case what happens, it becomes easier for the cell to take in or to absorb those shorter chain molecules or the shorter chemical molecules which are having less complex molecular chemistry. It is easier for the cell to take those molecules within it and start the processing of the cell. And another thing is, with the interconversion of all these molecules, the electron is being transferred, electron as well as the oxygen is being transferred from one molecule to another. The two specific enzymes here are taking part, two vital enzymes. One is the decarboxylase and another one is the dehydrogenase. Okay, in all these aerobic respiration pathways and all. And and also in aerobic respiration, these two are the major enzymes in the absence of which the major cycles of the aerobic as well as the anaerobic respiration is not possible at all. Not only in eukaryotic organisms but also in primitive organisms also. Okay, and there are some deviations like the pentose phosphate pathway and all, which occurs basically in the plant body and also in the bacterial body, unlike the human body and the animal body. Because those comes under the photorespiration. Okay, for pentose phosphate pathway, where the complex form of sugars are, the plant sugars are a little bit different, and their functional groups are also a little bit different, unlike the animal and the human body. And the primitive organisms, the bacteria and all specifically, they are actually having both the things. Both the things means the carbohydrate conversion that is happening in the animal body also. They have some of those cycles like the TCA cycle, glycolysis cycle and all, then pyruvate conversion and all, and also the pentose phosphate pathway. Okay, and also sometimes the photosynthetic bacteria are also having mimicking. They're mimicking. This is called the evolution of the mimicking. They mimic the processes and pathways that happens in the plants, in the dark reaction and the light reaction as well. So those are latter parts. So let's start with the glycolysis first. Glycolysis. In glycolysis, first thing comes is glucose. Glucose, then this glucose molecule gets converted to glucose 6-phosphate in the presence of hexokinase. Glucose molecules get converted to glucose 6-phosphate in presence of hexokinase. And here another conversion takes place, that is ADP to ATP. ATP to ADP. ATP to ADP plus PI. Okay. And again, this glucose 6-phosphate gets converted to fructose 6-phosphate in the presence of phosphohexoisomerase. This is another enzyme. Phosphohexoisomerase. So what is happening here? Why isomerase? Because the glucose 6-phosphate and the fructose 6-phosphate looks almost the same. Okay. Only these are isomeric compounds, like the optical isomerism that I've discussed before in the carbohydrate, in the biomolecule section. These are the isomeric compounds where the glucose 6-phosphate and the fructose 6-phosphate, they are having the same molecular formula but different arrangement of the atoms at some places, at the second carbon or the first carbon, different arrangements. So these are the isomers. And this phosphohexoisomerase, what it does, it converts the hydrogen and the oxygen atoms present in the carbon chain of the glucose. It rearranges the hydrogen and the oxygen atoms in the glucose molecule and forms the fructose, and the phosphate group is being attached to that particular carbon atom, which was attached also in the glucose. So that's why phosphohexoisomerase is the enzyme is needed. Then it is converted to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. So fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, this conversion happens in the presence of phosphofructokinase. Phosphofructokinase means this comes under the enzyme of the transferase. Okay, the enzyme class and comes under the class of the transferase group, where another phosphate molecule is being transferred to the fructose chain. So the fructose is having the phosphate groups at the first carbon and at the sixth carbon. That's why fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. And it's happening under the conversion of the phosphofructokinase from fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Now, this again, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate in presence of aldolase. Aldolase is an enzyme. Aldolase is an enzyme which helps in the aldol condensation. Aldol condensation is a reaction where aldehyde and the alcohol, the aldehyde group and the alcohol group that are both present in the fructose structure. Fructose structure, you remember now how it was. Like in the first carbon, there was CHO in the glucose molecule, but that first carbon is having CH2OH and the second carbon is having a keto group, C double bond O group. So the hydroxyl radical, the alcohol group, all group, that is OH group, is jumping up to the CHO group and it is forming CH2OH. So the second carbon is becoming C double bond O, and after that CHOH, then this way it is arranging up to the sixth carbon. So the aldehyde group, the CHO group, and also the alcohol group, all group, that is the OH group, is being rearranged. And aldolase helps in, here also another conversion happens. that is ATP to ATP to ATP to ATP to ADP plus Pi. Okay, here also another term, because these two steps are taking in energy, they are actively occurring within the cytoplasm. So in the active phenomena, or the active conversion is happening, not the passive conversion. Passive conversion doesn't take energy. It happens in the course of the energy gradient from higher to lower energy. The active conversion happens with the expense of the energy. Okay, it is requiring energy. ATP is converted to ADP plus Pi, and then it is again emitting the energy, that is ADP plus Pi again is getting converted to ATP in subsequent stages. Now aldolase is helping in the formation of two molecules, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, two molecules. One is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, okay, plus another one is dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Dihydroxyacetone phosphate. These two are the compounds that are being formed in the presence of the enzyme aldolase. Okay, this aldolase is having these two converting the fructose 1,6 bisphosphate to this and this. These two substrate molecules. Okay, aldolase is converting into this. Now, this glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, in the presence of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Now the enzyme dehydrogenase is coming into action. Okay, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase is getting converted to what? 1,3 bisphospho 1,3 bisphosphoglyceraldehyde. This is the compound that is being formed in the presence of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, and here the electron transport happens. How the electron transport is happening? The glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase is taking in the action of NADH. NAD. The NAD here in this step, NAD plus gets converted to NADH plus H plus. Why? Because the dehydrogenase, what it is doing, it is taking away the hydrogen in the form of proton from this glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate compound, and NAD plus is acting as that hydrogen acceptor or the proton acceptor. It is acting as the electron acceptor. Okay.
Can you please repeat it?
Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is having the hydrogen atom. Okay. Glyceraldehyde. So this enzyme glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, what it is doing? It is taking away the hydrogen, the proton from this glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and along with that hydrogen, it is also taking an electron. Likewise, I said that the electron transport happens in the hydrate form. This way, in the last class I told, na? And in another way, that is in this manner, hydrogen plus E minus. These two are the radicals or the symbolic representations or the medium how the electron is being transported from one molecule to another, right? So glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, this is the compound from where the hydrogen atoms are being warded off. It is being departed from that. Just the hydrogen atoms are removed by the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, and after removing the hydrogen atoms, along with that the electron molecules are coming along with the hydrogen. which is being accepted, the proton and the electron both are getting accepted by the NAD plus. So NAD plus is getting converted to NADH, accepting the electron. This is the electron. This H is the electron. Like in the last class of electron transport chain I explained. This part is the electron and this one is the proton. This H is the proton, right? So this is happening and the compound is getting converted to 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde. Now this 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde is getting converted in the presence of glyceraldehyde glyceraldehyde dephosphatase. It is removing one of the phosphate group. Okay. So in that way, if it removes the phosphate groups, what will happen? The two phosphate groups that are present in the molecule, the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphoglycerate is getting converted to the dephosphatase or glyceraldehyde. Yeah, this is getting converted to one phosphate group compound. So that is coming as 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde. Okay, this is the compound that is happening. Now in this case, this is called 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde, where dephosphatase or kinase, dephosphatase or the kinase enzyme is active, glyceraldehyde kinase. Okay, phosphoglycerate kinase or glyceraldehyde dephosphatase, or another enzyme is phosphoglycerate kinase. What it is doing, it is removing one of the phosphate group, because bisphosphoglyceraldehyde was having two phosphate groups, right? From that part 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde is forming, because 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde is having only one phosphate group. Okay, and from here this phosphate group is being taken, this phosphate group is being again condensed by this ADP. The ADP, this ADP molecule, these two ADP molecules were previously found. Okay, so these two ADP molecules are again taking the phosphate that is coming out from here, bisphosphoglyceraldehyde, and the ADP after taking the phosphate is getting converted to ATP.
Repeat.
The ADP molecule, here the ADP molecules are coming, right? ATP is converted to ADP, and here also ATP is getting converted to ADP. Now this ADP molecule is taking the phosphate, inorganic phosphate that is coming out from here, 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde, that is getting converted to 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde or 3-phosphoglyceric acid. 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid or 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde is getting converted to the 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde. Okay, where one phosphate group is being removed. Now this phosphate group, the phosphate group that is being removed by this enzyme,
The phosphate group is being removed from 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate.
glyceraldehyde, yes. That's why the name itself mentioning it. 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde means what? Two phosphate groups are there. Bis means two, and from there it is getting converted to 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde. That means only one phosphate group is present, and that is happening in the presence of enzyme glyceraldehyde dephosphatase or phosphoglycerate kinase. Now these two ADP molecules, one of these ADP molecules that was forming in here and here also, this ADP is taking this phosphate, and ADP plus PI is again getting converted to ATP. Okay, here ADP to ATP is happening. So that is what happening in the passive, that is happening as a passive conversion. Passive conversion means it is not requiring energy. It is not requiring energy, okay. It is rather happening from a source of available energy source to a source of lower energy source with the evolution or emission of the ATP molecule. Unlike here, what it was happening, the active conversion or active transport, active diffusion, active osmosis, all these things, when we come into the concept of the cell biology and all, the cellular function, the cell functioning and all, what we know that the active conversion or active transport, active diffusion, all of these phenomena requires energy, needs energy to perform. Okay, and once that energy is being needed by them, they convert to some other product, and then the energy is again being reformed into the previous form of the energy in order to continue the cycle repeatedly for the upcoming subsequent processes and all. And here what is happening? Here it is happening from a higher energy background to a lower energy background. Why? Because the energy is already available. Energy where this inorganic phosphate that is providing the higher energy. So it is getting converted from a higher energy to a lower energy form. Lower energy form means 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde is getting converted to 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde. That is, two phosphate groups are being among the two, one phosphate group is getting removed, and that is what is going out in the form of ATP.
So it's the enzyme that is causing, like in this step, the enzyme is
This is the enzyme.
the phosphoglycerate
Kinase.
kinase.
Yeah, phosphoglycerate kinase or glyceraldehyde dephosphatase.
All right, wait.
This is the enzyme. Okay. So above this, beside the arrows and above these arrows, whatever I am reading, all these are the enzymes only. Okay. So this is called, this particular portion is known as this conversion from 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde to 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde. This conversion is called substrate level phosphorylation. Okay, this is called substrate level of the phosphorylation. Are you able to understand what I am telling? Substrate level of phosphorylation. Phosphorylation means removal of the phosphate group. So substrate level means 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde is getting converted to 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde by the removal of one phosphate group, and that's why this is called substrate level phosphorylation. And this is a passive conversion because from the higher energy it is getting converted to a lower energy compound. Unlike here, it was getting, here what was happening, the lower energy compound was getting converted to higher energy compound. This is called active, that was requiring energy, and this is not requiring energy. Unlike those two parts, this is emitting the energy internally. Okay, and this 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, now this 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde will get converted to 2-phosphoglyceraldehyde. In the presence of enzyme phosphoglycerate mutase. This is the enzyme. 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde will get converted to 2-phosphoglyceraldehyde in the presence of the enzyme called 2-phosphoglycerate mutase. Now, this 2-phosphoglyceraldehyde gets converted to phosphoenol pyruvate. Okay, 2-phosphoglyceraldehyde gets converted to 2-phosphoenol pyruvate. 2-phosphoenol pyruvate. pyruvic acid. This happens in the presence of enzyme enolase. Enolase is the enzyme which is helping this conversion. Okay. Now, this 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid is converted to pyruvate in the presence of enzyme pyruvate kinase. Pyruvate kinase. This is the enzyme required for the conversion of 2-phosphoenol pyruvate or pyruvic acid to the pyruvate molecule. And here also ADP to ATP. Here also it is an energy independent process. Here it gets converted to, in this step also, ADP plus PI gets converted to ATP. Okay.
So ADP takes the phosphorus from the 2-phosphorus from the pyruvic acid, as it takes the phosphorus.
Yes, I'm listening. Yes.
So in this step, when it is being converted into from ADP plus PI to ATP, so ADP will be needing a PI, right?
Yes.
So the phosphate group is being taken from the 2-phosphoenol
Phosphoenol pyruvic acid. Yes. Right. The phosphate group is removed from there and condensed with the ADP, and then it is again forming the ATP. Okay. This is what the entire the cycle of pyruvic glycolysis is now. Here, from this glucose to this glyceryl 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate, this blue colored part entirely is known as the preparatory phase. Okay. This blue colored part is entirely known as the preparatory phase. And this blue colored part, from glucose to glyceryl 3-phosphate plus dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and from this glyceryl 3-phosphate, this black colored portion up to the pyruvate molecule, from the glyceryl 3-phosphate to the pyruvate up to here, it is known as the payoff phase. This is called the payoff. Where shall I write? Here I am writing, okay? Payoff phase. Yes.
There is the black ink, right?
Huh?
In black ink, whatever it is,
Yes. Black ink up to pyruvate. From the glyceryl 3-phosphate to pyruvate lastly. This entire phase is called the payoff phase. And from the glucose to the glyceryl 3-phosphate, this is called preparatory phase. This entire phase is called preparatory phase. Okay.